Chapter 7. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to wage war against it. But they could not conquer it. When the house of David, Judah, was told, Syria is allied with Ephraim, Israel, the hearts of Ahaz and his people trembled as the trees of the forest tremble in the wind. Then the Lord said to Isaiah, "Go out to meet Ahaz, king of Judah, you and your son, Shear-Jashub, at the end of the aqueduct of the upper pool, on the highway to the fuller's field, and say to him, Take care and be calm. Do not fear and be weak-hearted because of these two stumps of smoldering logs, on account of the fierce anger of King Rezin and Syria and of the son of Remaliah, because Syria along with Ephraim, Israel, and the son of Remaliah have planned evil against you, Judah, saying, Let us go up against Judah and terrorize it, and let us break its wall and tear it apart, and set up the son of Tabeel over it as its king. For this is what the Lord God says, It shall not stand, nor shall it happen. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. Now within 65 years Ephraim will be broken to pieces and will no longer be a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. If you will not believe and trust in God and his message, be assured that you will not be established. Then the Lord spoke again to King Ahaz, saying, Ask a sign for yourself from the Lord your God, one that will convince you that God has spoken and will keep his word. Make your request as deep as Sheol or as high as heaven. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, nor will I test the Lord. Then Isaiah said, Hear then, O house of David. Is it too small a thing for you to try the patience of man? But you will try the patience of my God as well? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Listen carefully. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and she will call his name Immanuel, God with us. He will eat curds and honey when he knows enough to refuse evil and choose good. For before the child will know enough to refuse evil and choose good, the land Canaan, whose two kings you dread, will be deserted, both Ephraim and Syria. The Lord will bring on you, on your people, and on your father's house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim separated from Judah. In that day, the Lord will whistle for the fly that is in the mouth of the rivers and canals of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. These armies, like flies and bees, will all come and settle on the steep and rugged ravines, and in the clefts of the rocks, and on all the thorn bushes, and in all the watering places. In that day, when foreign armies swarm the land. The Lord will shave with a razor hired from the regions beyond the Euphrates, that is, with the king of Assyria. That razor will shave the head and the hair of the legs, and it will also remove the beard, leaving Judah stripped, shamed, and scorned. Now in that day, because of the poverty caused by the invaders, a man will keep alive only a young milk cow and 2 sheep. And because of the abundance of milk produced, he will eat curds. For everyone that is left in the land will eat only curds and wild honey. And it will come to pass in that day, in every place where there used to be 1,000 vines worth 1,000 silver shekels, there will be briars and thorns. People will come there with arrows and bows, because all the land will be briars and thorns. As for the hills which used to be cultivated with the pick and the hoe, you will no longer go there, for fear of the briars and thorns. But they will become a place where oxen are pastured and sheep tread. Chapter 8. Then the Lord said to me, take for yourself a large tablet and write on it, in ordinary characters, belonging to Maher-shalal-Hashbaz, and I will get faithful witnesses to attest to this prophecy for me, Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son of Jeberechiah. So I approached my wife, the prophetess, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. Then the Lord said to me, name him Maher-shalal-Hashbaz, to remind the people of the prophecy. For before the boy knows how to say my father or my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria will be carried away by the king of Assyria. Again, the Lord spoke to me, saying, because these people, Judah, have refused the gently flowing waters of Shiloh, and rejoice in Rezin and Remaliah's son. Now therefore, listen carefully. The Lord is about to bring on them the waters of the Euphrates River, strong and abundant, the king of Assyria and all his glory, and it will rise over all its channels and canals and go far beyond its banks. Then it will sweep into Judah. It will overflow and pass through the hills, reaching even to the neck, of which Jerusalem is the head, and its outstretched wings, the armies of Assyria, will fill the width of your land, O Immanuel. Be broken, O peoples, and be shattered. Listen, all you, our enemies from the far countries, prepare yourselves for war, and be shattered. Prepare yourselves for war, and be shattered. Take counsel together against Judah, but it will come to nothing. Speak the word, but it will not stand, for God is with us, Immanuel. For in this way the Lord spoke to me with his strong hand upon me, and instructed me not to walk in the way of this people, behaving as they do, saying, you are not to say, it is a conspiracy, in regard to all that this people call a conspiracy. And you are not to fear what they fear, nor be in dread of it. it is the Lord of hosts whom you are to regard as holy and awesome. He shall be your fear. He shall be your dread, not man. Then he shall be a sanctuary, a sacred, indestructible shelter for those who fear and trust him. But to both the houses of Israel, both the northern and southern kingdoms, Israel and Judah, he will be a stone on which to stumble and a rock on which to trip, a trap and a snare for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Many will stumble over them, then they will fall and be broken. They will even be snared and trapped. Bind up the testimony, seal the law and the teaching among my disciples. And I will wait for the Lord who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look eagerly for him. Listen carefully. I and the children whom the Lord has given me are for signs and wonders that will occur in Israel from the Lord of hosts, who dwells on Mount Zion. When the people, instead of trusting God, say to you, consult the mediums and the fortune tellers who chirp and whisper and mutter, should not a people consult their God? Should they consult the dead on behalf of the living? Direct those people to the law and to the testimony. If their teachings are not in accord with this word, it is because they have no dawn. They who consult mediums and fortune tellers will pass through the land deeply distressed and hungry, and when they are hungry, they will become enraged and will curse their king and their God as they look upward. Then they will look to the earth, and they will see only distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish, and they will be driven away into darkness and overwhelming night.